Hey there, welcome to my channel. Here's where I just make all kinds of fun stuff and take you along for the ride. So today I'm super excited to show you how to make these adorable Friends dolls in all of the beautiful skin tones of our world. Different hair color, different skin tones. So why do I think it's so important to have dolls with different skin tones? It's because children can really relate to a doll that they feel like looks like them, you know, and when children don't have dolls that look like them, it makes them feel like they're different or they don't belong. And so every child should have a doll that looks like them, right? So luckily, toy manufacturers are starting to get to know that, and they're starting to get better about making dolls with different skin tones. But that's one of the reasons why I like to do this. Also, I want my grandchildren to have dolls that play together that don't all look exactly alike. You know, we don't need to look any certain way. The beauty of people is their differences and their diversity. So this is why I think it's so important to make these dolls that are so beautiful in all different skin tones. So let's get at it. Okay, so you can make these dolls super simple, and you can make them more and more complex as you wish. So first of all, I'm going to show you, this is the simplest version of it, and I have to thank Jojo Juju. She's the one that first showed me how to make these very super cute, simple dolls, and then I've just kind of made my own iterations of it. But this one's super simple. It's actually, this isn't the most simple because this one has little hands and feet. So the most simple body type is this one. It looks like they're just in jammies. These are all just one piece for the arms, one piece for leg, head, hat. And it's even simpler than you think because all that is 4 tubes that we're gonna put together into a doll. Then you can make a little bit more by adding different skin color to their hands and feet. And then you can do a little bit more by making a little shirt or another little piece of clothing. This one's got a cute little dress on, and then you can add hair, which makes it a little bit more fancy. This one, I just love her hair, don't you? She is just adorable. So those are the iterations that you can do, if you will, to make them very simple for a baby that doesn't need really anything. And these are gender neutral. This is gender neutral, right? So you can do super simple ones, or you can add little iterations to it. So today I'm just going to show you how to make the basic doll, probably with the hands and feet too, because that's really not that much harder at all to do. And then in future videos, I'll show you how to make different clothes, how to add hair, and things like that. The first part of making it is just to make the tubes that make up the doll. You have one tube for the hat, one tube for the head, a tube for the arms, and a tube for the body and legs. So here we go. We are going to start the knitting, and just so you know, I'm going to be using, we have lots of great colors, skin colors, and they're fairly inexpensive. I actually got these on sale for $2.40 or something, which is awesome. But they're very soft for a doll, and they work great in the knitting machine. So that's what I'll be using. Now we're going to start off doing 5 rows for this hand, and then we're going to do 30 rows and 5. That's going to make the arm and hand portion. If you want to make it simpler, you can certainly do it all one color, like this doll. This is just all one color of variegated yarn, and I just did it all one yarn, and you can totally do that too. I kind of like the look of having little skin colored hands at least, so that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do a simple cast on because that works the best anytime you're doing a tube like this. This is what we're going to be making right now, the 5, 30, and 5. And anytime you're going to close the end of a tube, the simple cast on is the great way to go. All right, we're going to cast on now. I'm going to do a simple cast on. That always works the best when you're going to close the end of a tube. So this is what we're doing. We're going to do 5 rows for hand color, 30 rows for the 2 sleeves, and 5 rows for the other hand. Hook it. Make sure that goes down behind the teeth there. Then we're going to go behind and front, behind and front. And each time if you kind of hook that in there, that'll make sure that it pulls it down in. All right, so now we went all the way around.
No, we didn't. This one's just in the way, making it look like I went all the way around. Keep going. This is a 22 pin machine, of course. And this is the ADDI brand, but I have both brands, and I'm definitely going to be doing a comparison video soon. And I have a very different opinion than a lot of the people out there who've done comparison videos. So you might want to watch out for that one. Reset. I'm going to do 5 rows. You always want to kind of go slow this first row to make sure it's pulling it down behind the red teeth. Watch here to make sure none of these are splitting. Sometimes the yarn wants to split, especially if there's too much tension from like right there. This particular, the Skein Tones yarn has worked really great for me. But I gotta say, this one particular skein keeps splitting. I'm not really sure why it is being more splitting than the other colors were. So take your loom hook, and if there's anything that is split, we just want to pull it over so that it's over those 2 red pins and it's not split. That's usually what makes that chunking sound, is when it's split. We'll do 5 rows for the hands. And 5. Cut not a super long piece, just a little, you know, about that much. Trim that, put it inside. I'm going to take this really pretty color I'm going to use for the clothing. I like using variegating yarns for these dolls. If you use the mandala type, that you get kind of a color blocking effect. This one's more of just a regular patterned yarn, but I think it makes for a pretty outfit, especially if you aren't going to be making any other clothing pieces. In future videos, I am going to be showing you how to make clothing pieces, and that you might want to make the whole doll skin color, or you might want to make the whole doll a solid color. But with this one, it's going to kind of look like it's got jammies on, so I like the variegated color. So when you start this up again, just make sure that one and this one is pulling down below the teeth. Once you did that, then you can tie it. And I like to tie it not so tight that I'm pulling this and this, but just right up against it, because otherwise you end up with a hole. And put it inside. All right, now we're going to do 30 rows for the 2 sleeves. This is why I like to hold this with my hands, because every once in a while you get a tangle, and if I'm holding it, I can feel it coming. Almost to 30. Ooh, pretty. I love the green coming. That will continue on the rest of the doll. So, all right, now we're going to cut a little length here. Put it in the middle. Notice that I want to put it over this one, because that one still needs to be caught in. This is where we're changing. And now I'm going to use the Skein Tones yarn again. Just not a super long one on this one, but enough. And we're going to hold it, make sure those get pulled down in. Good. And now I will tie it. Okay, put those in the middle. And I'm going to do 5 more for the other hand. Now, on this one, on the end, I do want to do a nice long piece, because I'm going to be casting off with this piece, and I want room for that. Here's how you do that. You want to take the yarn out of the yarn guide and put it right here, and we're going to go around 1 time. That kind of starts to release it so that you can cast it off. Okay, 1 time. Now, I'm going to thread this. I like to fold it in half, especially because I have old middle-aged eyes. This helps me a lot. And just push it onto that way it doesn't split. So that's a nice little trick. Now I'm going to start with this next one here. So I want to turn it so that this one hasn't started pushing that one off yet, because if it pushes this one off, I just dropped that stitch, right? So that's where I want it to be, where it's still down. But this one is still, that's the one that you are attached to. So you're not going to start there, you're going to start on the next one. These are the little details that I had to learn the hard way. So now we're going to just pull these off. Make sure, here's another important tip, make sure you are not splitting the yarn when you do this. It won't be able to pull through if you do, and it's a headache. So make sure you're going down, under, and up, and making sure that you are not pushing that needle through the yarn, but in between the two teeth and behind. I do like the metal needles, bent needles. These are perfect for this use. The plastic ones, just for me, don't work as well. And that the bent tip is definitely helpful when you're doing all kinds of things with knitting. Actually, the bent needle is really helpful. And I go all the way around. Now see, if we hadn't gone around one time without the yarn in the guide, you wouldn't be able to pull it off like this. Okay, and now I want to go a little bit more till these guys are released, so I can pull that off. There we go. Now we went through all of them. Now we can just pull it closed. See how easy that is? It's a great way to cast off because it just closes the tube so easily. Now we can pull this. And we have our arms and hand, sleeve, hand at the other side. So we pulled that one, that's good. And we're gonna also pull this one. So you can just cut these are tied off. We tied these off nicely, so you can cut those and just kind of tuck them in. Now we're just gonna take the needle and close this off, so like this. I don't stuff these. You'll see why later. It really doesn't need stuffing, because really it's going to end up like this, and it's nice and squishy without any sewing. I mean, without any stuffing. So I do not stuff these, and I do it slightly different than some other people on YouTube, which is neither better or worse, but just a little bit different. Mine are a little bit less like rag dolls and a little bit more like doll dolls. So anyway, that's it. I just closed the end, and I'll do the same thing to this side. Set it aside. We're doing 40 rows for the head. You can just let it, when it tries to split like this, you can just crank through it and let it go, and it will correct on the next row. Long-ish end for casting off. Take it out of the yarn guide. Close the yarn guide, or it goes clack, clack, clack around one whole revolution until I get back to our color there. So this is the one I'm coming off, so I don't want to do it. I don't want it to push this one off yet. Stop at the one you stopped at. Usually I stop over there, but it doesn't really matter as long as you don't let it pull that one off. Okay, so this is the one I'm coming off of, so this is the next one I want to pull off. I want to at all costs avoid dropping a stitch, because it's a really not fun, and that's why I do this. I put my finger on those teeth just to make sure I don't pull that stitch off. See, I don't want that split. That is not going to be good, and sometimes that happens because the yarn was actually split on the needle, and sometimes because I just didn't get it all when I pulled it through. So what I'm going to do, it's good for you to see how to fix this stuff. I'm going to go back out of that. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm going through all of that piece. There we go. Fixed. Like I said, I like when mistakes happen because you can learn from my mistakes instead of learning from your own mistakes, which are a pain, which is what I did before. So look at the last one I did. I did something weird here. Started in the wrong place or something. Okay, no harm, no foul. Close it. It's gonna be our cute little head. And it's kind of made like the hat in a way, because you're gonna fold it inside like the hat. It's like making the hat and then you stuff it and you close the other side basically. Okay, close that side. Sorry, was I off camera? And just gonna put that inside the layers. Cut it. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And even if you're doing the safety eyes right now, you still would close this, but the next step is what will be a little bit different if you're doing safety eyes rather than the simple sewn-on eyes. But this doll, I'm just going to show you simple sewn-on eyes. And then in my eyes video, I'm going to show you a bunch of fun different ways, fancier ways to do eyes. This isn't rocket science here, this part. You just want to close the hole. And I'm going to go inside. Okay, now we can cut that piece, pull it in. Okay, now we're going to do like we did with the other one, in that we're going to turn it inside out. And actually I could have waited to cut that one off because I need to sew it through here. I'll just tie a knot. Hey, do you know how to do this? Is a pretty tricky knot my mom taught me. I don't know if you guys have seen how to do this, but you wet your finger, wrap it around, roll it, and pull. It's a good knot for all kinds of embroidery or a lot of different kinds of things. It makes a nice knot. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Come in on the end, just to the side of the hole, and just to the side of the hole, so it's holding on to something. And just sew those two pieces together. And you want it double like this because you don't want the stuffing to show through the holes of the knitting, right? So that's why you want to do it double like this. And like I said, if I was doing any kind of a crochet or any kind of an eye other than the simple sewn-on eye, then I would do it now. Like if I was going to do safety eyes, you need to put it in here. If I was going to do my fancy crochet eyes like is on my cute little caterpillar here, my crochet eyes, if you're going to do those, you want to crochet the eyes first and then sew them on now so that you can't see the sewing in the back. You don't have to, but it's easier. But since we're doing simple eyes, I'm going to do the stuffing now. Okay, now time to stuff the head. We've got it turned inside out. I've got it sewed together in the middle. And now I'm just going to take some polyfill and start stuffing. Now, you want this not too much so that it stretches out your knitting, but you want it firm enough to where after the child plays with it for a while, it doesn't, look flat. So just about like that. It's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so now what we're going to do is thread a needle and tie a knot. And what we're going to do is just go around the edge, kind of go in every other stitch, right on the edge. You can actually do this before you stuff it and then stick the stuffing in. It's probably a little easier, but every other stitch all the way around. This part isn't going to show because it's going to be totally sewed to the body, so it's not really crucial that you totally get that shut or anything, just enough to keep the stuffing in. And then I hid the end inside, and then voila, cute little head is stuffed. Okay, now you're just going to do the same thing you did on the arms for the leg and body tube. You only need one tube for the legs and body, but unless you want bare feet, you don't need to do this separate feet color. You can just do it all your clothing color, and it's going to be 65 rows, and then finish off the ends just like you did the arms, and then we'll be ready to put it together. Okay, here we are. We're going to put the arms and the body together, and we've pinned it right down the middle. Now I'm going to put it right here in the middle and pull out that pin, tie it one time, and then I'm gonna test it and make sure. Arms are the same, leg, this one's a little bit. So you see I hadn't totally pulled it tight yet so that I can make little adjustments and get it even. Even with my pinning, I still got a little uneven. There we go. Now we have even hands and arms. Okay, so now I'm gonna do it tight. Just turning the ends under a little bit since that's the way we're gonna fold these like this anyway. So just kind of turning those ends under a little bit. Same with this. We're gonna be turning these, well, these actually are gonna sew together that way, so it won't even matter on that one. Okay, perfect. Okay, next step is we are going to close off. Now, you can actually just, close these off a little bit and leave, or even just leave them open. If it's for a baby and you want it to just be like a flappy rag doll, you can leave it like this and it kind of looks like jammies. But I like to have mine a little bit more constructed. So I like to close this part off. So here's how I do that. This is called mattress stitch. If you don't know how to do a mattress stitch, here's how you do it. In between knitting, there's always these little bars. See these bars? One under this stitch and there's one under this stitch. So we're gonna go under 2 bars and under 2 bars. And you just wanna stay in the same row. You don't have to pull it tight yet. Under 2 bars. And this will be totally invisible. It's the coolest thing. Now what I'm going to do is tie this like that to make the little hand. And I just go ahead and use the same yarn I have on here. Pull it around, try to get it right on the line so that it is right on the line between the 2 colors. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more time, nice and tight. There we go. And now I'm going to just thread the needle so that I can make sure that's tied off well. I'll take a little stitch, do that, and then I'm going to hide the extra in the little hand. I go like this and over here and cut that off. Okay, so I sewed down the legs and I was just going to show you that. Remember we did 5 here, so if you can't tell where to put the foot, you can either just make them the same and that would work just fine too, or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right about there. Cute little foot. And you don't have to do this. They'd actually be fine like that. But I think it's cute to have a little foot. And then I'll tie a little knot. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to this foot. Okay, now that I got both hands done, I'm going to thread a needle with the clothing color, though actually it's so invisible, probably wouldn't even see it even if I didn't do a clothing color, but I'm going to. And I'm going to start here where we left off, make a little knot. I made a knot, and now I'm going to come back in here and hide that, and we're going to do that same mattress stitch on these arms. Now make sure you line up the stitches, because if you twist it and you start going across like that, it doesn't look good and it doesn't hide it. It won't be invisible, because when you stay in this crease, it actually sinks the stitches down in to where you can't even see them. 1, 2 bars. So 2 bars, and you don't need to pull it tight yet. We stay in the same row, even though it's going to kind of twist around. No biggie, it's going to be in the underarm anyway. Okay, now watch this magic. So cool, I love the mattress stitch. Can't even see it. Awesome, right? Now I'm gonna go through here to the other side so we can do the same thing on this arm. Make sure I line these up. And hide the ends inside. Here, cut that off, and here we go with the arms are done. Okay, we're gonna leave this on for a little bit. Now we're gonna do the same thing to this, well, not exactly the same, because we have to do the body first. So we're gonna sew the body together. See, this is gonna be the body halfway down, and then the legs will be separate like that. Maybe not quite halfway. Yeah, about halfway, maybe a little less. You make your doll how you like it, but you see this is the body, so this sews here, and then when we get to the crotch, we're gonna do it this way. So first we fold it this way, take our yarn, I'm gonna do this row and this row, so let me tie it in here and hide it. Hide that inside. Okay, now I'm gonna come up in the middle here, because is that the one I'm gonna do? Wait, let's see. Yeah, I think this one. So I'm gonna come up here because that's where we're gonna start our mattress stitch. And we're gonna put these together this way. Make sure your legs are even. Matching up our line so it's not twisted anywhere. And we do our mattress stitch, just 2 bars here. That's good. Now, when you get that done, now we're gonna go over to this side, do the same thing, and tie this one on here a little bit. It won't even matter that this is green because that mattress stitch is so nice and invisible. Here to start my mattress stitch, line this up nicely, right straight across from there. 2 bars, mattress stitch. And this green is not even going to show because it'll just be sucked down in that stitch. That is the beauty of the mattress stitch. Now I'm going to go ahead, and this one has a thread here that I can use to sew up there if this, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one to sew down here. We didn't need to use this one because that one was long enough. All right, I'm just gonna do the same thing on this leg, go up here And then I'm going to get some green and tie off this foot, and I'm going to use this color to tie off this foot, just like we did on the hands. All right, time to put the head on. First thing I like to do is just tie this to the bottom of it, just to hold it on there. And hide these inside. Now we're going to take skin tone yarn around here so that it's not so floppy, so it's got a little bit more connection to that. I tie this on down here. And now I'm going to just go around the head, catching a little bit so that it's just a little bit sturdier than just a total floppy head doll. It would just be too floppy if it was just like this, you know. So I'm just going to hold it like that, and just about a little bit like that, and then catch up a little bit on the body. There, now he's got a little more sturdiness to him. He's not so floppy. Now, I'm going to tie this off. And there's our basic doll. So now we're going to put the hat on, the eyes, and then the hat. And then in future videos, I will show you how to make some different clothes for them. Okay, so I knit the hat exactly the same as the head. This is 40 rows. Close off the ends just like we did the head and push it inside. Remember, this is how the head was, and then we stuffed it. Well, we're just not going to stuff it. And this is neat because it's reversible depending on how you want it to go, but I love this side. So now I'm going to put the hat on, and a couple ways, different ways to do the hat. Actually, we're going to do the eyes first, but since I was talking about the hat, you can tie off like this, and it makes it look like it has a pom-pom. Or what I'm going to do on this one is pull it down and turn up this rim because it's such cute colors that way. And then we're going to sew it on because with little ones, it's kind of a bummer when they lose pieces. Look how cute this is looking already. Put the eyes on now. I've just put the hat on just so I could kind of see where I want them. And I think I'm going to put them about here. It can vary if you're going to put an eyes or mouth on it. I might change that. And I'm going to show how to do more faces later. But this is just a real simple face where it's just two eyes. So I think I'm going to put them right about here and here. Maybe a little farther apart. I'm going to come up, and I use about a number 3 yarn for this. And we're just going to do a loose V. I'm going to come up where I want the center of the eye. I'm gonna go about here, try to pick up some stuffing with it, it helps. And then an equal amount on the other side. I gotta get through a little too much stuffing there. There we go. Hey kitty, you're not helping. Thank you. Ah. Okay, so we just take a stitch there and a stitch there. Then I'm going to go over to straight across as much as possible where I want the other eye. Okay, go over to the other eye, bottom of it. And you don't want to pull it really tight because then it looks more like a V, and we're kind of going for more like a little eyelash look. And now I went over a bar, so I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go over a bar and up one. And then over. Not pull it very tight, keep it kind of loose, and go out the back. I like that. So now I'm just going to tie it off at the back, and there is the eyes. This will be covered up by the hat anyway. The eyes. Okay, just finishing this up, tying off my cute little hat. Our little all finished, so cute and very soft and cuddly
So there we go. I hope you like that. And I had fun making it, and I hope you have fun making it too.